Hey everybody, it's me, Samuel K. This is my TV show where I have issues. I was busy the last couple weeks and skipped a week. Sorry. Here's the issues that I read for this episode. This is last week's comics and this week's comics. So this is everything I read. The last 6 of them are all Hellboy comics because I've been reading Hellboy. I'll talk about Hellboy more in depth, maybe at a later date after I've finished the series. But I'm definitely going to pick up BRPD and Abe Sapien after this, because I am very much enjoying what I am reading out of those. But yeah, here's everything I read. Full list will be in the description if you want to look at it further. It's going away now. Okay, there we go. There's my logo. Boom! I'm talking about Cosmic Ghost Rider number 2 by Donny Cates. Art by Dylan Burnett and Antonio Fabella. Cover by Jeff Shaw and Antonio Fabella. I've mentioned before, I'm not crazy about how they've been portraying Frank Castle in these. Like, I understand that he was consumed by the Ghost Rider and has gone insane, but for me, like, going insane doesn't mean that he, like, makes jokes and clowns around. Like, I don't feel like Frank Castle would be that if he was driven insane by the Ghost Rider. I feel like he would be more cold and calculating and, like, violent. And it's not like, that's not like I'm like, oh, I love a good, violent, awful comic. It's not that at all. I like that in The Punisher, though. Like, I feel that's Punisher's thing. And Ghost Rider's thing is more like making gallows humor jokes and being kind of wacky. I don't know that it's necessarily a Frank Castle thing, but the last page in this comic is really good, and the artwork in general is really awesome in this comic, so I'm gonna keep reading it regardless. It's just, I'm like, did they really even have to make it Frank Castle? Because he's not acting like the Punisher. That's the part that I don't like, I guess. But this is a cool panel. I like Cable showing up. I'll read it, sure. Why not? Nothing's stopping me. Also, we've got Weapon X number 21 by Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente. Art by Ricardo Lopez Ortiz and Frank Darmada. A cover by Raza. What a great, fun book! The Weapon X team is in Russia, causing all kinds of fucking trouble. Sabretooth is really fucking this mission up and making it way too complicated, and Mystique is going to show up very soon and complicate matters more in the last panel here. The artwork has some great expressions and some fun weight to it. I really love this friendship that's budding between Omega Red and Sabretooth, because they're these, like, 2 wild-ass animals who are raising a tiger cub together now. And also Omega Red punching Ursa Major in the face is really fun too. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading some more of this. I highly recommend Weapon X. It's one of my favorite books that's out. Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente are 2 of my favorite comic writers. They did Incredible Hercules. They're doing this book now. It's no wonder I love it. Everybody should also read Incredible Hercules. I want to do a special episode where I just reread and reread. Maybe I'll add that to my list, is I'm going to reread Incredible Hercules and make you bastards listen to me talk about it. How do you like that? X-Men Gold, number 33, by Mark Guggenheim. Art by Michelle Bandini and Eric Arciniega. Cover by Phil Noto. So, apparently when I wasn't reading comics, some things took place in X-Men in which Storm has obtained a hammer like Thor, and now she, like, uses her lightning powers to run around like Thor. And she even gets, like, a Thor-looking costume with a big cape and a helmet and shit. And that's awesome. I've always really liked Storm in the old X-Men comics. Or not, the old X-Men cartoon that was on Saturday mornings. Because she'd just be, like, flying around with the wind going everywhere. Being like, "Thunder and lightning, your mistress commands you! Listen and obey!" And she'd do all this crazy shit. So, like, I loved her. And she's returned to her homeland in these comics, where she was previously worshipped as a goddess. To discover they're worshipping some other entity now. So I've got a feeling that she's going to like get into a big god fight. Well, the name of this plot line is God War, so I'm looking forward to Storm fighting a fucking god and hitting them in the head with a big ol' hammer covered in lightning. I want to read that story very, very much. Blank! I'm gonna bitch about Spider-Man some more. The Amazing Spider-Man, number 3 by Nick Spencer. Art by Ryan Ottley, Cliff Rathburn, and Laura Martin. Cover by Ryan Ottley and Laura Martin. I'm not liking where this comic is going. The last arc of Spider-Man, which I've mentioned on the show before, was awesome. Norman Osborn gets a hold of the Carnage symbiote and becomes the Carnage Goblin and just wreaks hell all over fucking New York, and Spider-Man almost dies like 3 times over the course of 5 issues or whatever it was. And it's a great big old fucking mess, and it was really good. And Spider-Man barely survives and saves the day, and it was great. At the end of last week's issue of The Amazing Spider-Man number 2, Peter Parker is rescued by Spider-Man. You may be saying to yourself, how could that occur? And it's because, conveniently, this fight took place in a science lab where there was a magical ray gun that can shoot Peter Parker, and he accidentally fell over and bumped into it during the fight, and it shot him, and it magically split him into Peter Parker and Spider-Man, like separated Spider-Man from Peter Parker. And now they're just 2 of them, and Peter's okay with that for the most part in this issue. Like, there's a lot of, like, I understand comic books are, like, written to be exciting, and they're kind of written for a younger audience to understand them, but everything that happened in that sequence, like, it just so happened to be there when this fight broke out, and just so happened to fall over and bump into this thing that just so happens splits people into 2 parts of their being. Like, I don't know. It was a little much for me. Also, my friend Banshee noticed this as well. Hello, Banshee, if you're watching this. She pointed out there is a typo in right there. I highlighted it. If we had time to do some more real testing on it. If we had. Marvel, you better watch out. You're making goofballs. You're doing a bad job. We busted ya. Good job, Banshee. Good job, me. Fantastic Four number 1 by Dan Slott and Sarah Pichelli. Art by Sarah Pichelli and Elisabetta D'Amico and Marta Gracia. I'm jazzed about a new Fantastic Four book. One of my favorite Marvel characters is Ben Grimm. And I wasn't really crazy about the miniseries of him and Johnny Storm looking for Reed and Sue throughout the universe, the multiverse. Wasn't the best, but Fantastic Four is always a really good team book. I've read a lot of Fantastic Four comics because I like them. They've all got their kind of comic foils, and they all play off of each other really well. Like, Sue is, kind of like introspective, and she's caring, and Reed Richards is just kind of an aloof dickhead, and Ben Grimm's a big lovable goofball, and Johnny's kind of an antagonistic hothead, and like, well, quite literally. But yeah, I like the way these characters all play off of each other, and there's a good example of it in this issue, where to do a magical thing, they need the best singer in the Fantastic Four to sing a song, and Sue thinks it's her, and everybody thinks it's Johnny. Even Johnny's being a smug little bastard about it. And it just shows, like, Ben Grimm trying to be, like, diplomatic and kind, and Reed just being a shithead because he's Reed Richards and doesn't know how to behave around people. So, yeah, it's really a fun series. I like it quite a bit. Hopefully the Fantastic Four is coming back, because I like the Fantastic Four. I like seeing more of that old big orange fella. The Hunter for Wolverine, the Adamantium Agenda, number 4. We gotta talk about this. Okay, it's written by Tom Taylor, art by R.B. Silvia, Adriano De Benedetto, and Guro EFX. I don't know if that's a company or a person. Covered by Giuseppe Camuncoli, Robert Poggi, and Val Staples. So we got to talk about this, right? Last time I read the Adamantium Agenda comic, I talked about how silly it is that, like, Luke Cage has a big flail attached to his Iron Man armor, and, like, I noticed that Wolverine's has metal dreadlocks. Now watch this. Okay, so they take their helmets off when they get there, and Wolverine's hair, her hair just hangs out. It's normal hair, right? Mr. Sinister shows up, and Tony Stark is like, put on your helmets so that he can't control our minds. And so when her helmet pops back up, the metal dreadlocks are back. And so, okay, now, this is where it's weird and funny to me, right? Also, she's wearing her Wolverine mask, and her Iron Man mask is built to fit over her Wolverine mask. That's funny to me, too. But, okay, so, Jessica Jones is also there, but she doesn't have metal dreadlocks, despite the fact that she also has really long hair. She's just got these weird sticks on her back that they've never shown what they do. So, was there a meeting where Tony Stark was like, what's everybody want on your Iron Man suit? And Luke Cage was like, oh, I want a big golden flail attached to the arm of mine. And Laura Kinney was like, I want metal dreadlocks to come up when I have the helmet on. And then Jessica Jones was like, oh, I want some pink sticks on the back. I need some sticks. Like, I wish that this scene was in the comic where they were designing their armor, because that would be a very funny thing. Whoever designed these armors, please contact me. I need to know about the metal dreadlocks and what the sticks on Jessica Jones's back do. Old Man Logan, number 45, by Ed Brisson, art by Juan Ferreira, cover by Mike Deodato Jr. and Carlos Lopez. This comic starts out with Bullseye driving a stolen cop car through a mall and singing KRS-One. You're probably sick of hearing me say it by now, but I fucking love Bullseye. He's awesome. That's all I have to say about this. And as a matter of fact, these are my panels of the week, because they made me laugh. So that's it. 2 weeks worth of comics. Not a lot to say about them. I'm looking forward to reading some more comics next week. What am I looking forward to read? Let's have a look at them. Thor number 4 is coming out next week. It's got a frankly gorgeous, colorful, fun cover. Everything about this cover says, oh, I want to read this comic, no matter what is inside of it. And the fact that it's written by Jason Aaron, and it's got this beautiful artwork by Mike Del Mundo, I think is his name. Mike? I forget his name. Last name's Del Mundo. It's right there on the cover, though. I remembered that much. Anyway, looking forward to this one, because I love Thor. This has been a really fun book to read. They're doing a Cable and Deadpool annual, which I think is going to be fun. The Cable and Deadpool comics when I was a kid were some of my favorites. I was like a teenager reading them. Also, Cable and Deadpool saved Deadpool 2 for me. I didn't really like the first Deadpool movie, but Deadpool 2 was fun, because I was like, oh yeah, it's the X-Force! And at the end, like, Wade gets hurt, and his armor turns gray, because he's got ash on him, but it was clearly supposed to look like the X-Force armor. So I was like, ah ha ha ha, yay! So yeah, I'm looking forward to a Cable and Deadpool reunion, I guess you could say. Also, X-Men Extermination is starting. They've been talking about this for a couple of months now. So I want to see what that's going to be all about. It's another big X-Men event. I like the X-Men. So I like seeing when all the X-Men get together and get to do shit together. That's always really cool. And finally, a new issue of Weapon X. Looking forward to it. I hope that it's all the same people. I didn't look. It looks like they might have a different artist working on it, which is troubling. But we'll see what I think about it. Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente are still writing it, so I'm sure it will be a delight. That's all I've got for this week. If you want to get in contact with me, you can contact me on Twitter or at my email address. Got any questions for me? If there's something that you want me to read that you think that I would enjoy, if you want me to talk about your favorite comic books, recommend it to me. If you want to tell me I'm wrong for thinking the art in the new Spider-Man is bad, let me know. The music I'm listening to right now in the background is the Hyper Light Drifter soundtrack by Disaster Piece. An excellent video game and an excellent soundtrack. Disasterpeace is a very good artist. Go buy this album from them so they make money. I say that as soon as, like, it goes into a quiet spot. Like, maybe just, like... There's no... There's some noise. Disasterpeace. Very good music. Hey, everybody, thank you for watching my show. Samuel K. has issues. Goodbye.